I'm ready.
I'm ready.
This woman is mentally ill. You know, we can look back in a time in history. She's not a Christian.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Nothing Yet Live. I'm Jay Tyler.
I am your Miss Parker, and
not a Christian.
Not a Christian, not with the empathy.
All right, read it in the voice. Oh.
Our nation needs to take a serious look at the state of mental health today. Sometimes meds can be the problem. Yeah. For use in times of pain or need. Active ingredient wishes. Oh, there's a thing at the bottom of it that says
you gotta look right here.
Inactive ingredients.
God, Jesus,
Holy Spirit.
Yeah,
and Bang energy drink.
Bang energy drink for that.
Okay. America is failing our youngest generations from decades of rejecting good moral values and teachings. We don't need more gun control. We need to return to God.
Yeah. Well, he said no.
Yeah.
About 30 times in the last week.
Yeah. Yeah. We prayed.
Didn't work.
Ask Presley Stutz how that works.
Ask 86-year-old I can't remember her name. Damn it. I dedicated that shit to memory, that old lady. 86 years old, look happy as shit, spry as hell in the supermarket, gunned down by a douchebag. And I think, like, man, she probably would have lived a lot longer, you know? Just, and then I got to look at this. After this, come on, stop. I'm throw up in my mouth a little bit. Every time I have to deal with this.
Throw up down my shirt a little bit.
Douche.
God. Oh. Yeah. A shooting happens particularly when it happens in Texas, and then you get to see this moron try to look like he has empathy and like he gives a shit about anything besides himself and his political career and power. I mean, when you look like
now
him,
it's the Democrats. Democrats they're the one be politicizing this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he has a go at Beto here.
Look at Democrats always be trying to take away your rights. That's crazy. Women can own guns too. And dude, we should arm every pregnant woman.
Should arm every fetus
that is forced to be pregnant. Dude, people change their minds.
Yeah. Especially around the
July
third trimester.
Heat, Mississippi, your husband comes home drunk.
You're 9 months pregnant.
And you have an AK. Hey, I'm talking about justifiable homicide, son. I'm talking about stand your ground.
And they're out of pork rinds.
Yeah. Far be it to take away somebody else's rights.
Yeah. Okay. So
you ready?
Yeah. Get a hold of this butthole.
Sorry, guys.
Look at that fake.
Who are never going to get to kiss their child goodnight.
God.
Well, you couldn't kiss your kid goodbye
you
one
get
day.
Punched in the face by your own kid.
Is this the moment to reform gun laws?
Look at him. He's rehearsed this in
now,
front of a mirror.
Like, you got to keep in mind.
It's at the heart of the issue.
I get that's where the
now this guy, this is from Skyview News. Which is basically the Fox of Australia.
Oh.
So this like they're like this is like the Fox News about. It's called Skyview News or Sky.
I didn't realize that was Australia.
Yeah, it's where many of the people we've talked to here like to go.
The proposals from Democrats in the media, inevitably, when some violent psychopath murders people,
a violent psychopath who's able to get a weapon so easily, 18-year-old with 2 AR-15s.
If you want to stop violent crime,
this guy in the background.
Proposals
like,
the Democrats
holy
have,
shit!
None of them
like, when do we whisk him away? Like,
happen in your country? I really think that's what many people around the world just cannot fathom. Why only in America? Why is
she's like, let me at him. Let me at him.
So awful.
Look at him faking.
You know, I'm sorry you think American exceptionalism is awful.
I think this aspect. I think this aspect of it.
You got your political agenda.
No, it's honestly,
God love you,
Senator. It's not. I just want to understand
that's the
why
thing. His political agenda is very right wing. This is like the right wing news in Australia.
Well, the Australians don't politicize guns, is what I'm guessing. They had a mass shooting.
And then they said,
the worst
no
one.
more guns, eh?
Yeah, the worst one in the world, I think, to date. And they just said, fuck it. No more guns. That's it.
Irish.
Guess what happened to mass shootings after that?
That Irish guy, did you see that? The Irish dude that said just like, this is insane. Oh, I'll put that up in the next segment. But here we go. Look, Ted Cruz tucks his tail between his legs and walks away.
It is just an American problem, sir.
Mr. Cruz, why is America the only country that faces this kind of mass shooting?
But you can't answer that. You can't answer that, can you, sir? You can't answer that. Why is this?
Why is it that people come from all over the world to America? Because it's the freest, most prosperous, safest country on earth.
It may be the freest. It may be the most.
Why are our kids dying in school?
Yeah, come to America where there is no expectation of safety for your children in a public school. I mean, that's gone out the window.
Again, private schools. When was the last time you heard of a private school getting shot up?
I never have, but I don't think people come here so they can send their kids to private school.
And Mr. Cruz goes on.
Yeah, he has some theories.
I like this little tool. I mean, it's a lot of plastic, but it seems like a bucket and outside would work just as good.
It's like the Back to the Future mobile that runs on shit, right?
It's going to break eventually.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how we could have prevented
the
horror that played out across the street. Look, the killer entered here the same way the killer entered in Santa Fe. Through a back
the same way that I entered my wife.
Door. An unlocked back door.
Sorry, trying to make light of a dark
situation. Families from Santa Fe, we talked about what we need to do.
He doesn't even do anger convincingly.
Back doors, including not having unlocked doors to classroom, having one door that goes in and out of the school.
Don't you think
one door in and out of the school makes it really hard to escape during a fire?
Yeah, I think that's illegal, butthole.
I think that there should be multiple exits.
Do you think he actually rehearsed this anger in front of a mirror?
I don't know, because he did it
armed police officers
twice.
At one door. And one of the things that everyone agreed is don't have all of these unlocked back doors. Have one door into and out of the school, and have
no. You can't have this. You can't have just one doorway. Jesus. Oh my God.
Senator Ted Cruz represents Texas.
No, he doesn't.
On the Judiciary Committee. All right, Senator. You heard the primetime plan. What are we going to do about this?
He's so fake. He's like an SNL
exactly right.
caricature.
I will say the entire state of Texas, the entire country is grief stricken. We over here on KROT are fucking pissed.
We're
not grief stricken, man. We're pissed. Very, very angry with you. Imagine if I just had a couple of AR-15s. Probably changed the course of history. But the law frowns on such activity.
Things. Yeah.
We've seen the face of evil here.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
The kind of monster.
Line up the head.
Into an elementary school and executes 19 little children. There are 19 families right now that are experiencing the most horrific and unimaginable agony. There is the nightmare of every parent. There are two more families. The families of
Ted.
You want to talk about the nightmare?
You don't want to rein in the guns. You don't want anything to change. Okay, which of your kids are you sacrificing? I'm going to keep asking the question. Name one of your daughters.
One that flipped him off.
Name one of them. Pick a daughter and say, I'm willing.
The debate is settled. It's like we have almost as many shootings as we do like weeks in the year.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like 3 in a week or 3 in 10 days or something.
I think we have as many, not as many mass shootings, but as many deaths in mass shootings as there are days in the year, at least.
Is that how many that's happening?
I think so. Yeah. I'm talking about death. I'm talking about deaths in mass shootings. A mass shooting is just like one event, but I mean, in this case, 21 people died. Sometimes I think it's 3 or more. Or
we're
4
not
or
even
more.
talking about all the black people cops shoot.
But that's not considered a mass shooting.
Understood.
That's a separate
Yeah.
bad thing.
It's just a regular murder.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not a regular murder,
Well,
but it's
unless they're
it's a
convicted.
different category of problem. Okay, let's
Those two
entertain
teachers who
ourselves with this.
heroically gave their lives. Enough is enough. This is horrific. So
You don't get to talk about heroes, fuckhole.
posturing of people like, Beto O'Rourke, who shows up and tries to turn it into a political event instead of
Like what you're
briefing with
doing right now. I mean, yeah, he did make it. He did politicize it. He did show up and make a political event of it.
He asked a couple questions.
But he
as far as
asked
I'm
some.
concerned.
He asked some questions. He asked
He called
valid
them out.
questions.
He's just like, you guys aren't doing anything, and you know it. Ted Cruz standing up there like a dumbass that he is, and then somebody called him a sick son of a bitch or something like that. It's like, dude, what if we're not to politicize something like mass shootings? And what the else are we supposed to do? Doesn't the politics handle like these kinds of things? Isn't that what we're?
Well,
it's
you've
a
already
debate.
politicized it.
We have a debate, and we say, "Yo, we the people are sick of people getting shot to death." Doesn't really affect me at all, but I care because I'm a human. This guy got the most money from the NRA. This guy who is about to talk about back doors. Talking about back doors. The NRA is using your back door, son.
We can pass legislation.
And you love it.
Listening to what you were saying, Jesse, I've introduced legislation that would do much of that. In 2013, I introduced legislation that would spend $300 million on federal grants to harden schools, to make them safer, to make
harden schools.
Why don't we just send them all to prisons then?
Throw them in bunkers.
Harden schools.
Why don't you throw them in bunkers so the only way in is down?
Dude, I took my daughter Ari out of a school because I didn't like it. They ran it like a jail. They all had to wear uniforms. It was a hardened school. They wouldn't. You had to show up and be there. And I sent him to the other school. Big windows, no uniforms. Everybody came running out. And what? And these schools were literally. I was in between the districts, so I was able to get this transfer. It was like a block and a half the other way, and it was night and day. The difference was that the school that she ended up going to was largely white. The other one was largely Hispanic.
Whatever happened? What about education? We're not even talking about education anymore, except critical race theory. All we're talking about now is how to keep kids safe in schools, how to keep kids from getting their asses shot.
Do you want your kids seeing guns? Like, what are you going to do? Like, you're going to put a armed person at every entrance? Do you know what it costs to train? Like, I don't want somebody, I want to know, like, if you're paying somebody to be around my kid with a gun, just in case, that fucker better be making like $100,000 a year, and I want to see his training. I want to see everything.
I want to see his entire
I want to see
background.
His marksmanship scores. I want to see how much combat experience he has, Give me a break. It's not going to help, man. The moment that you don't allow an 18-year-old to buy 2 AR-15s and 400 rounds of ammo because, woohoo, it's Texas or Buffalo or whatever. Like, come on. In California, really, the only thing you need to buy a gun is exact change, I think, because there's a change shortage here.
But in California, there's a cooling off period. I don't think you can just walk in and
no,
buy
it's like
gun.
a 21 day.
Yeah.
Wait.
So this kid would not have been able to do what he might have.
Damn it.
It might have given him some time to rethink his life choices.
Or a couple weeks to plot a more effective attack, too. I mean,
I think his attack was pretty effective.
Yeah, not pro.
I don't think he was. I don't think he was trying to be
killers
pro.
Are really pro.
I don't think he wanted to be pro. I think he was angry. He really wanted to do something.
Right.
It was 2 days after his 18th birthday. He got the gun. He was taking photos of himself with it. And then the next day he bought a shit ton of ammo.
Well, remember that guy?
Red flags everywhere.
Remember that he was an ex-soldier and he was pissed off at cops. And he was highly trained and highly motivated, and he laid waste to the cops. Like, he only targeted cops, and he was smoking them because he was adept and pro. Like, so what's a cop worth? 10 civilians. So he could have taken out probably 100 civilians, but he was targeting police, and he was effective. They had to burn the thing, like, when he finally hid out up in, like, I think it was like Tahoe or something. They caught him. They ended up just burning the cabin to the ground with him in it, because that's how we handle shooters that are black. You know, and you can't target police, right? Because they're more important than regular people.
It's much more serious a crime to attack a police
I cannot.
officer.
It blows me away that Buffalo shooter is alive. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way that if he was black, Chauvin would have smoked him like.
Well, not now. Chauvin's in prison.
Well, but I'm just telling you, who's the next Derek Chauvin? You, Minneapolis Police Department? Right? Like, where's the next Derek Chauvin?
Do you want to finish this out?
Yeah, fine.
Them more protected. The Democrats filibustered that legislation. I've introduced legislation to say schools like this elementary school behind me can get federal grants to harden their security, to put in bulletproof doors, bulletproof glass, to put in armed police officers to protect kids. $1.3 billion in federal funds that are available. Again, the Democrats.
And I really wanted to get my hands on that money to harden schools with dude, if there's no guns, we don't need bulletproof glass, son.
No.
Plus, you're talking about Florida man glass. Plus, if somebody can easily usurp your defenses, which is generally easy, bulletproof glass doesn't mean shit. And if you have like one way in and one way out of a school, what happens if there's a fire? Or what happens if, like, how are these kids going to just like
what
escape?
if there had been
like,
bulletproof glass in this incident? It would not make any difference because the guy got into the building and started shooting people. All that would have happened would have been the windows wouldn't have gotten
dude,
broken.
your thinking is so wrong, man. Every plan that you get, every plan that you make to try to defeat my plan, I'm going to find a way around it.
How many school shootings have involved the shooter standing outside and shooting at windows? How many?
Never.
Yeah, they enter the school and start shooting people. That's it.
Hey, high-powered rifle, multiple magazines, and narrow hallways when people are panicking. Like, damn, I'm surprised he only got 23 kids. 23 killed. Like, look at what the guy did in the movie theater in Colorado. Man, he got like 60 people or something. And it's just like, dude, what are you gonna do now? Harden movie theaters, or stop James? What is it, James? I want to say James Franco, but I know it's. But yeah, that guy shot up the movie theater in Colorado. It's like, dude, you could have kept this guy from buying like an arsenal's worth of equipment in one afternoon. It might have been a thing. Gun shows. Hey, look, Colorado's not that far away from Virginia as far as gun shows. Like, I've been to gun shows in Colorado. You can just
walk in there and buy whatever you want and walk out. No background check, nothing.